Now to the shutdown standoff as the president blames the Democrats, tweeting, "I am all alone, poor me, in the White House, waiting for the Democrats to come back and make a deal on desperately needed border security. At some point, the Democrats not wanting to make a deal will cost our country more money than the border wall we're all talking about. Crazy." Joining me now, Kevin Sheridan, GOP strategist and former spokesman for the Mitt Romney campaign and RNC, and Robin Biro, former Obama campaign regional field director and Democratic strategist. Thank you both for joining me on this Christmas Eve. Wonderful to see you both.
Good to see you.
Let's talk a little bit about the timeline. This is what Mick Mulvaney had to say on, I think it was Fox News Sunday.
The Senate went into recess until at least Thursday. That doesn't mean it will be before Thursday till we hear something back, but I don't think things are going to move very quickly here for the next couple of days.
He's talking about the next couple of days. Could we see things potentially stretch into a week, potentially several weeks? Robin, what do you think?
You know, I honestly do. I'm generally a glass half full kind of guy, but I think this is going to take a while. And you know, we've given part of the way on this deal, but it's not anywhere near the $5 billion that President Trump wants. I think we're going to have to meet somewhere in the middle. I suspect that we're going to get a deal on a border fence. If you notice, the president's most recent language is saying that also, and I think that that might appease some Democrats because, look, we were for the Secure Fence Act in 2006 on a bipartisan manner. I think we can make progress there, Molly.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up. There's been a lot of talk about semantics, whether if they can just slide wall out of the documents that are being passed and forth, they could come to some sort of compromise. What do you think, Kevin? Is that the compromise that'll have to happen? And once things slide into this new year, will Democrats hold out until Nancy Pelosi steps in?
Yeah, we're not going to have any negotiations, any real negotiations, I think, until she's sworn in on January 3rd and she can, you know, get the approval of the new members that she's got in her caucus that are very obviously left-leaning and are not going to allow her to do any negotiating with the White House on this whatsoever. At some point, though, she's going to have to stand up to her base and say, look, we can't shut the government down indefinitely forever for what we're talking about here is just a few $1 billion. It's not, you know, this isn't going to solve the problem of all border security, but at the end of the day, what are we talking about? We're talking about a few $1 billion, especially between the 1 and the 5. I mean, to keep the government shut down forever for that, I mean, it's not much.
And it seems like we're talking a lot about wording as well. There's a fairly new statement here from Leader Pelosi and Schumer on the Trump shutdown as they, you know, as we talk about branding and which sides to blame. It says Christmas Eve and President Trump is plunging the country into chaos, the stock market tanking, and the president waging a personal war on the Federal Reserve after he just fired the Secretary of Defense. Instead of bringing certainty into people's lives, he's continuing the Trump shutdown just to please right-wing radio and TV host. Meanwhile, different people from the White House are saying different things about what the president would accept or not accept to end the Trump shutdown. So they're really billing this as the Trump shutdown. But once Nancy Pelosi steps in and begins to take over, then does the blame shift a little bit? What would the American people think if this goes on for too long? Robin?
You know, honestly, that's a great question because it's going to be our problem. And, you know, we just gained 40 seats in the House. That's great. But if we don't actually get progress and get work done, we're not going to be able to keep those seats headed into 2020. And 2020 is going to look not so great for us presidentially if we can't actually deliver and get work done. That's going to require us to work across the aisle and start giving these Americans some of these reforms that they want. That's how Trump came into office, because he was the anti-politician. So we've got to get the message through our thick heads as Democrats that we've got to work across the aisle and get something done, Molly.
Here's what one Democrat had to say. Senator Dick Durbin, take a listen.
The president just a few days ago said he was proud to author a shutdown of his own government, that he was elected to be the commander-in-chief and chief executive. It really is in the president's hands to decide. He says it's an issue of border security. I think we know better. It's an issue of his own political insecurity.
Political insecurity. You know, this is something that, going back and forth, that they have often targeted the president as being, calling him a toddler, that sort of thing, that sort of language being used, political insecurity, that this is a bone that's being thrown to the right. What do you think, Kevin? What do you think that's the sort of language that's being used as we work towards potentially, you know, we would hope, a solution?
That's Democrat spin. Look, the border being insecure is a problem that goes back, and it's to blame, and both parties are to blame for it, going back 20 years or more. I think this is a symbolic issue. We're talking about a few $1 billion to start some serious structure at the border, whatever you want to call it. But the American people have lost faith in both sides of Congress because neither has done anything on it, and both have played political games with it. I would argue that there was a real shot in 2005 when Democrats were supporting border security, for instance, to get a real compromise done on it, and they bailed on it, and they took the issue and they thought it was good politics, and they've run on it ever since. And to some extent, they've continued to win on it until 2016, when President Trump brought the issue up, or then candidate Trump brought the issue to the American people and actually won on it when nobody thought it was possible. So now it's a mainstream Republican issue. But look, we're going to have to get security at the border. There's a reason why there's 15, 20 million people in this country illegally. They got here somehow, and some of it's coming over the border. You need to stop that border. You got to stop the drugs. You've got to stop the smuggling. So.
Yeah, the shutdown we'll be watching certainly in the coming days, potentially into the week following, and who knows how long, really. But that border issue we'll be watching for a much longer time, I have a feeling. Kevin Sheridan, Robin Biro, thanks so much for joining us. Merry Christmas.